Todd, as the offense has struggled at times this year, have you found yourself spending a little bit more time with that end at all, or has it been kind of, the normal routine?
Well, that was a mood killer question right there. After that, I was feeling really good until that question there. No, I mean, here's the whole deal. You play the whole season to get to the end of, this is the last week in October, I think, in November. Championships are won in November. And every year, no one ever gets it right usually. It's going to be the team that just comes out and every single day. I always tell our players, when I come out on the field and I look and I watch every person in our organization, that person is serving and he has a passion, right? He has an intent to get better every day, or you don't. I don't talk about smart and dumb. I talk about people that are conscientious and people that are careless. And so right now, this time of year, there's been a big focus on that. So I've been working on both sides of the ball. You probably noticed that when I'm out there. But my whole deal is about rising up, man. It's about finish. In our program, there's 3 things, outside our values that we're trying to accomplish. We want to operate with great speed. And if you have character and you're smart and you have the values that we stand for, then you can operate a lot faster than everybody else and a lot more efficient. Physicality, we want to be very very and then last thing's finish. And man, it's time to rise up and finish. And don't worry about anything other than, I think the team that we're playing, Oregon, is at full strength. I think that it's, no doubt. You look at, what their program's about, the challenge ahead of us. But the key for us is to take care of the football. That's the key. If we take care of the football, we're going to win. That's how simple it is. We're playing it. I think when you look at you can dissect it all you want. We win and lose as a team. Have we reached our potential? Have we played to our potential offensively? No. And the number one thing that we focused on for 2 weeks is ball security, taking care of the football, and getting our speed and our tempo going. And that's the things that we have to focus on offense. So you can't just. You gotta have, we have leaders and we have people in place that are calling the plays and doing all those things. Matter of fact, Coach Patterson's calling almost every defense now and doing a tremendous job. No one really notices that. I actually signal for him because I communicate with him. That's the honest truth. I think offensively the big thing is just focusing on getting better at one thing. And the one thing we've got to get better at is our tempo and owning the football. That's it. That's been the number one focus for us. So you can't worry about all those things. Every year there's a team that I watch in this league for the last 3 years, that rises to the occasion. In 2013, it was us. We rose to the occasion, and no one expected us to be playing Stanford in the championship game, but we won the South. And we did that because we had a group of guys that fought and refused to stay the same and got better every day down the stretch. So that's the key for us. And obviously, it's a must win. We have to go get it done. And I don't care if it's 3-0 or 60-59. I just want to win. So we have looked at those things, Doug, and dissected them and really tried to look and say, what, and we're really close. It's just, things that are, you look at the UCLA game, and you look at how we put it together there. We've really put together one complete game as a football team. But I would tell you that we're playing at the highest level we've played at on special teams. But still, we shanked a punt last week and fielded a ball inside the 5. There's very little margin for error. But we're playing better on special teams we've ever played here. I think we're playing better in our run defense and setting record pace and TFLs and sacks and all that defensively. But you don't get to do that. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. You got the best defense in the world. You lose. Nobody cares. It's about the team. And so we do need to correct the one thing that's slowing our team down more than anything else is turning the football over. The second thing is the fact that we are operating too slow, right? And some of that's complexity of what we're doing, but we have gone back and really tried to, come together with a plan that our guys can execute and execute it quickly.
Coach, I want to get your thoughts on what makes Oregon's rushing attack so good. Secondly, on that is
their running back. He's really good. He's their running back. Obviously, big up front. They've got a great scheme, and it's hard to kind of say who their scheme is like. I think the way they run the ball is very similar to what Arizona does and what UCLA does. So it's more of that style of a running attack. He's just powerful. He's 230 pounds. He gets downhill. He's very patient, a lot like Paul Perkins, very patient. Not just a bruiser guy, a guy that's very, very patient about what he's doing. And then they have the guys that complement him that have tremendous speed. So they're not just one-dimensional. They can run it inside, outside, run a lot of misdirection. Every play is a run pass, so they really hold you accountable on the perimeter. So he's the second leading rusher in the nation, and good reason for that. A lot of his yards are after contact. We've got to do a great job of tackling him. And, the strength of our defense is our run defense. And so it's a big challenge. It's going to be a big matchup. What was your other question? Sorry to interrupt you.
Well, I guess you kind of touched on the end, Coach. What's the emphasis in facing that rushing attack?
Yeah, our emphasis is obviously, being sound in our gap fits, and we got to stop the run, and keep it in front of us in the back end. Because the other thing about Oregon's offense thrives on the cheap one-play touchdown, and so we got to do a good job of vertically cutting people off and being accountable. They hold you accountable with all the run passes, so you got to make sure you don't leave somebody free. You got to be very sound in your coverage and also very tight in your run fits.
Coach, the Pac-12 is only 4 or 5 years old now, but there's been a lot of great starts and then teams that have faded and not finished well, or vice versa, come on strong at the end. What do you make of that? And what are the keys to finishing strong, sustaining through a whole season?
Yeah, I tell you, that is. We spend a lot of time, in the off season. I spend a lot of time talking about that, and I spend a lot of time complaining to Coach Cassidy about it. Is that I tell him all the time, I just don't understand. I don't understand. I mean, God, you know how important this is? Because it's so hard to get your team up. I don't know if it's, maybe I'm getting old, but, man, it is so difficult. There's so many factors, from travel to times you play. This is probably one of the most challenging leagues to play in from a time standpoint, because the game's so late at night and all those things, the travel. It's pretty important the years you have more home conference games than the years you don't. There's so many factors. Weather, I wish we played all of our non-conference games the last 3 games of the season, and so that way we could have everybody come down here in September instead of us go up there. You know what I'm saying? There's so many factors like that. So, but the key is, is just getting that's why your foundation, the principles of your program, in how you finish is so important. And we faded last year. We were strong, and then we went and lost a couple of games we shouldn't have lost. Finished up good, but at the end of the day, and it was different in 2013. You got towards the end of the season, went over the Rose Bowl and clinched it in decisive fashion, and just played, was going stronger as we got to the end of the season. Obviously got beat in the championship. The first year, I thought we got stronger as the year. We obviously lost 4 straight right in the middle of the season. So it's how you finish, and championships are won in November, but the key is the mental maturity of your team. And if your program or anything that you do, any organization, has to be based on values and characters about service and sacrifice. So we talk about that. I mean, it's so important. There's so much entitlement, and there's so many things that don't matter. There's so many things that things are so overanalyzed. Things are already so, at the end of the day, man, you bring it every day, and you serve the guy next to you. And if you can create that kind of culture, I feel good about our team, because our team really responds well to adversity. The problem is I wish the adversity would quit happening. And so now there's no margin for error. There's no responding to adversity. You have to win every game to even have a chance. And so, it's all about, what's in here, man. And you face, your character's exposed when you face that adversity. But to be a champion too, you've got to have consistency and day in and day out. And that's what we talk to our players about. And that's why, discipline, if they throw everything else out, it's about discipline. And it's about self-discipline yourself, man, to get focused and prepared for every game. And what I find that's so challenging as a coach is the key is to getting better. You stay the same, you're going to lose. You stay the same, you're not going to win. It don't matter how good you are. Is that the team that gets better every week is the one that's going to be left standing at the end. And in this league, it's never the one everybody expects. So, and that tells you how that heart and desire is 10 times more important than talent.
Todd, a few weeks ago, you said that you would like to see Daz get to a level where he can help you out defensively in addition to special teams. Is he getting to that point?
He's giving me a headache today. We're teaching him the spurt. I'm probably giving him a headache too. We've had a interesting 2 weeks, but no, I really think that he has been a standout player for us on special teams, and he is a winner. I mean, he comes from a winning background. He's a winner. From the time I met him and his family, that guy is impressive. And I really think he's a guy that can help us. So we've worked him at that spur position as well as the adjuster position and where Liu plays. And even though it's hard because he's trying to learn a complete new position in 2 weeks, but I do think that he might see some playing time there. He's really, I think, a guy that can help us. Smart, disciplined, just our kind of guy. And he's got really good ability.
Coach, I want to get your thoughts on Ducks quarterback Vernon Adams Jr.
Here's the big thing about their team. I think they struggled, obviously, when he got hurt and he wasn't in there because he has a tremendous cast around him. Out of all the teams that we've played in our conference, obviously USC, UCLA, Oregon's right there when you look at their skill players as far as the talent base, when you look at the running back, the receivers, and their ability to hit big plays. He gives them that stability, and he is a guy that can extend plays, and he's very difficult to keep corralled. Heck, he came out of the pocket against Michigan State and threw a ball left-handed. I mean, he's very athletic and completed it. He's very athletic. He's the guy you can tell is their guy. He's the guy they want in there. He had been hurt, and now they got him healthy. They got the 2 offensive linemen back that are healthy. I expect them to be full strength, and he's the guy. I mean, he's the guy that makes it work. They got him back against Washington, and they won. And they kind of got a big lead, and then Washington came back on them. He's a guy that's a very dynamic player because of his ability to extend plays. And you got to keep him corralled. And when he gets outside the pocket, he can do a lot of damage because he's got a tremendous support staff around him.
Todd, because you haven't played Oregon for 2 years, does it make it more difficult to prepare for them? And then also,
Everything we did last time, we're trying not to run.
could you just talk about Marcus Ball a little bit and where he's at right now?
Yeah, I mean, he's just in the depth. I mean, he's playing on special teams and, working hard to get better. That's about what I can say about that. He starts on a lot of our special teams units and just working hard to get better. As far as not playing them for 2 years, I mean, obviously in the summer and stuff, we spent a lot of time studying. Anytime you're playing the defending national champion, you're going to spend some time working on them. They're very different. And they've got they're very, very well coached. They got a very sound offensive scheme. It's very difficult. And the key is not giving up cheap touchdowns. That's the key for us, and being very sound in top-down coverage and being very assignment-oriented for misdirection.
Coach, just because of the numbers both teams can put up offensively and what teams are allowing defensively, does this have the potential to be a shootout on Thursday night?
I surely hope not. We don't want that.
Anyone else?
Do I like Thursday night game? Sure.
You prefer Saturday?
I prefer first Saturday at 1 o'clock. Well, because we have to, we have TV and we'd like to pay the bills.